Hey everyone, Once Bitten here. So we get to game one of Grail Quest 2014. If you want to see my army list and the kind of how the tournament is set up, please see my introductory video just prior to this one. This is my Bretonnians versus an Ogre army. Overall, the board looks like that. I like how there's a big section of the board in the middle with no terrain to hinder my knights. On the far right, he's got a large unit of Noblars, a Stonehorn, an Iron Blaster, and then he's got the obligatory, I believe this is a unit of 6 Iron Guts, with 4 characters. Got a Solder Master's only level 3 with the Lore of Beasts, and then he's got a level 2 with the Lore of Maw. Overall, not necessarily an overwhelming magic phase. Of course, he has a Tyrant in there and a Battle Standard Bearer. He's got a cold one from his monster selection. Got 6 Bulls. Next to them, 3 Lead Belchers, and on the far left, a Fire Dragon. Beautiful, beautiful model, beautifully painted. Yeah, so keep in mind that my opponent was able to place the important stuff after I did, but I think we could kind of tell what each other was doing. I mean, I could tell he liked that stone wall in the middle of his lines. So when I was deploying, really what I was thinking was that the Fire Dragon, or oh my gosh, my Great Bale Taurus, sorry about that, can go up and take care of his Noblars very, very easily without, I don't want my knights having to do that and getting bogged down. I put my general in the rightmost unit where you see that white arrow coming out of it. That is not my standard of discipline unit. My standard of discipline unit is in the middle. I wanted my general lined up against the Stonehorn. He's by far the best method I have of taking that thing out. And then the other Knight Lances, I would love to take just a big Knight Lance into the face of his Iron Gate unit, but without a double charge it might be iffy, especially with that stone wall in front of him. My big concern is his Fire Dragon coming over, because the only thing I have to deal with that is really my general, and my general can only do so much at any given time. So I put one Treb in my bottom left corner. You can see, as I said, where I put these guys. I've got the BSB and my Challenging Champion in the middle unit. I've got my General and the Speed Paladin in the right unit. So that unit is movement 9 with a plus D6 in the first turn it charges. It can zoom across the board. I've got my Great Bale Taurus, like I said, and I've got a Trebuchet in the other corner. I just didn't want to be able to use his dragon to come up and get both of them just really easily. So Ogre's turn 1. In the middle, he really just kind of sits back, doesn't do a whole lot. On the far left, he moves his dragon up. I'm actually okay with this. Now I have the Falcon Horn. On my turn, I can sound it, and he wouldn't be able to fly. But my thinking is this guy is already movement 6, and so we could probably make that charge regardless of whether or not I sound the Falcon Horn. So I'm going to let it go and get one turn of shooting out of this Trebuchet, and then he can have it. And if nothing else, at least this dragon is kind of in the lower left-hand corner, not readily accessible to everything else. If I have time to deal with everything else and can get a full night bus facing down the dragon, especially my general nearby, I'm not worried about it. Iron Blaster opens up on my Great Bale Taurus, hits it, wounds it, and rolls 3 wounds. Pretty average roll. I start with 5. I'm okay with it. Now, but with only 2 wounds remaining, that means that now I really don't want the Great Bale Taurus getting anywhere near his Iron Guts. The Noblars are looking better and better. They'll take 6s to wound him. They'll have to re-roll successful 6s, and then I'll save it a 4-up. So I think it'd be tough for them to kill him with a couple wounds left. His 3 Lead Belchers open up my Peg Knights and do nothing. It was very much appreciated. So we go to Bretonnian's turn 1. I really wanted my Peg Knights to charge his cold one, but I really couldn't do it without also connecting with his Bull unit on the left, and I did not want to do that. So I opted instead for have them take out the Lead Belchers. My hope is I can beat them on the charge. I probably will not overrun. I will just reform and face his cold one, because I really do not need that guy chaffing me up at some critical juncture. Otherwise, my general's unit has Curse of Honor here, so I just moved them up 8 inches. I didn't want to march, and that suited me just fine. I have plenty of movement, and I was able to just keep a battle line. So what I really like here is my opponent just doesn't have any chaff. He's got 1 piece of chaff, and there's only so much he's going to be able to do with it. Yeah, so I can pretty much pick and choose where I want to charge. I've played this in games before, and I think I always feel like I have the side advantage, but you just never know what's going to happen, especially being away from the general. If I fail a fear test, they can easily just whiff. During the magic phase, I get off Comet of Cassandora, put it right behind his lines. I don't know why I didn't put it between these guys and the Cold One Knights to help knock off a couple units. I think I was just too worried about it hitting my Peg Knights or something, but at the end of it, it was just kind of silly. I should have put the marker up closer to their units. And then I land my other trebuchet, hits his general's unit, and kills one guy. So that was nice. I mean, you always hope it can do more, but I will take it. Over here in combat, yeah, I did 3 wounds to him, but he did 3 wounds back to me. That was just rough. 9 attacks, he should hit 4.5. He should wound 2.25. I should save half, plus a ward save. So I should save, 1. So he should have done 1 wound to me. I don't know what I should have done to him. Don't feel like figuring it out. But anyway, blah, blah. OB's crying. It didn't work out, and he's stuck. Not the end of the world, because if I can beat him on his turn, I can reform and still do what I need to do with these guys. My concern is that if I don't beat him on the charge, I'm not necessarily likely to win it in the long run. So we go to Ogre's turn 2. Again, his lines don't move much. I think if anything, they move backward. His Cold One moves up to redirect my Battle Standard Bearer's unit, so now I really can't charge his General's unit. I'm not sure I wanted to. I might have considered it if I had a magic phase and was confident that I could get a spell off. Even just 1 buff might make that doable. But I'd be -1 to hit. They're high-strength guys. That would be iffy. With his Cold One there, it makes the decision easier, because now I can just charge everything else except his General's unit. I can take my Great Bale Taurus on the right into his Noblars. I can take my General's unit into his Stonehorn, my BSB's unit into the Iron Blaster, my other light unit on the left into his unit of Bulls, and I'm confident I can win all of those. And then it's just a matter of, can I avoid a countercharge? His beautiful, beautiful Fire Dragon makes it into combat with this trebuchet, but again, I'm okay with that. He's in the far left corner. The Comet goes off and kills a guy. So that's nice. On his turn, I'm getting that. And I see some wound markers on his guys. I don't know if that was from my trebuchet or from a miscast or something. I'm just not sure. Those wounds aren't game-breaking for him, but you can see this unit is taking a little bit of damage. So the Iron Blaster shoots the Great Bale Taurus. He hits it. He wounds it. And he pulls an OB and does a single wound. Now, when you see all those markers, by the way, the Minotaur Head red marker means he's frenzied. The flame marker is one I created for my Empire army. That means that it's a flaming marker. It means he still has his breath weapon. And then the other Beastman shield markers are wound markers. So we did 3 on turn 1 and 1 on turn 2. I think my opponent was really bummed about this, and I don't blame him. Anything but a 1, and he kills my Great Bale Taurus, and he rolls a 1. I've been there. On the far left, his Great Fire Dragon easily slaps around the trebuchet, turns, and faces the field. And this is not, it's a beautiful picture, but it's not what I want to see as Bretonnia. I do not need this thing in my rear, but on my turn, I can sound the Falcon Horn, and this guy's going 12 inches max. He's not going to make a charge. He's not going to make it anywhere close to my other trebuchet, and I forget to sound it. The Peg Knights don't take any wounds this turn, which was nice. I think they did 3 wounds again to him, which has to be above average. He only had 3 wounds back, couldn't do anything. He broke, and I decided to ignore him because I felt it was more important for these guys to clear the chaff. Bretonnian turn 2, look at that. Oh, that is every Bretonnian's dream. Turn 2, charging, and really I have the odds in every combat. I should win them all. The Great Bale Taurus is my only concern. He's not likely to roll enough 6s, but he could. But those Noblars are just going to be steadfast for a long, long time. So it's not that I'm worried that 1 round of combat he's gonna get the Great Bale Taurus. It's just, after round after round after round, and it's just not worth it's not worth putting a knight unit into them. So yeah, this is beautiful. So I'm charging in here, and I know the plan. I'm going to do my General's unit first, kill the Stonehorn, overrun, and should easily get out of line of sight of his Iron Gut unit, then do my BSB's unit, and that's going to be a difficult call. If I overrun, assuming I win, if I overrun, I'm not necessarily likely to get off the board. If I don't get off the board, there's a really good chance that I'm going to be just primed for a countercharge by his General's unit. Alternatively, I can just reform and face his General's unit. But that's tough too because um, I don't really want to take that charge, to be honest. And over here, the Peg Knight's going to take care of the cold one, and the other Knight's Knight Bust should just wreck face with the Bull unit. This trebuchet, remember last turn he lands a rock on his general's unit and kills a guy. This turn, this thing's a sniper. He hurls a rock all the way across the board, hits this fire dragon right in the head, wounds him, and does 2 wounds. I think this thing starts with 6, so doing 2 out of 6. I'm not complaining. Anything helps, and yeah, so he's not quite half dead or anything, but that certainly makes it a little bit easier to take care of him in the future if I can't rely on heroic killing blow. After combat, I really screwed up. When I was done with my general's unit, for some reason, I don't remember what I was thinking, but for some reason I was thinking, oops, it would be better not to overrun, and I stayed there. I don't know what I was thinking. I think what I did is I tried to reform, but I just couldn't reform much because I was surrounded by everything. And so I just sat there. It was the dumbest thing ever. I don't know. I wish I could blame the fact that I was tired or something. This is game 1. Huge mistake. That might be the Spees unit overruns. They almost get out of line of sight, but they just don't. So his Iron Gut unit has the choice of countercharging my BSB's unit or my General's unit because I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot for the General's unit. The BSB's unit, I can't, really couldn't have affected that. On the left, yeah, his bulls got totally annihilated, as did his cold one. The Great Bale Taurus killed some. I'm holding on to the breath weapon because frankly, I just don't need it against the Noblars. And if I ever need it against the Iron Guts, that breath weapon may help if I need it in the future. So he's just holding on to that over there. We go to Ogres turn 3. His Iron Gut unit charges my General's unit. It was the right call. I say hell no. I run away and I bounce through the Great Bale Taurus. What I was really worried about is if he had gone for that charge, I think he needed a 10 and he would have caught my General's unit. And although that's not necessarily likely, I was sweating bullets. He decides to redirect into my BSB's unit, and I just take it. It's going to cost me the unit and 2 paladins. I hate that. But what you going to do? I mean, the great thing about Bretonnia is you can jump on people fast and hit hard. The bad thing is we've got long flanks, and sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. Whatever. So he doesn't have a whole lot of movement to do. He's got his Iron Guts. He's got his Noblars locked in combat. His last remaining Lead Belcher rallied, so that's just kind of an irritation. And his Fire Dragon flew towards my other Trebuchet. I was very happy about that. He can take out my Trebuchets. I don't care. I'm much more worried about that thing coming out and helping in these key combats. After combat, yeah, he was clipping me, if you remember, so he really couldn't attack much. I issued a challenge with my Gauntlet of the Duel guy. He had to accept, and that took all his attacks away except for the challenge, which was very, very nice. So I don't think I lost anybody, and tell you what, I'm going to go back so we can see that better. Oh, sorry guys. Looks like this. Okay, so there, if you look at that, so when he came in, he killed 1 knight on an impact hit, and then when I got in the challenge, I pulled my Gauntlet of the Duel guy back to be the only knight they're touching. Because remember, they could barely see me, so they wheeled as much as he could. He's only with 1. So yeah, that went great. He only did the 1 wound. I was steadfast. It wasn't a problem. Then of course I wasn't able to reform because I don't know. I get confused on these rules, but when it steadfast helps you from the break test, but I guess you can't use the steadfast rule for your reform test, which I haven't played that way ever, but I'm not saying that it's not right. Anyway, so I'm stuck with him in my flank. He scoots down, and now he's just going to annihilate that unit, and that's just really, really bad. Yeah, so we go to Bretonnia turn 3. Luckily, my General's unit rallies. The other unit up at the top just reforms to face his General's unit. What I'm really worried about there, and I did sound the Falcon Horn this time, so now his General probably will fail a charge against my Trebuchet, so that'll buy me another turn. I brought my Peg Knights up here to try to redirect his unit, but it's a hopeless cause, because if he kills my BSB's unit, and he has a really decent chance of doing it, he can reform such that he can charge my other Knight unit, and there's nothing my Peg Knights can do about it. But I didn't know what else to do. I mean, it was there. So the laser sniper Trebuchet aims at the fire dragon again. hits it square in the head. This dude has hit 3 direct hits on 3 turns. He's a rock star. Actually, turn 1, I don't know if he did. It could have been the other trebuchet turn 1. It doesn't matter. Whatever. It's my 3rd direct hit of the game. Hits it. He wounds the fire dragon. And there's 4 wounds left, and I roll something 4 or higher and just kill it. I think that was very demoralizing for my opponent. Truth be told, this next turn, he wasn't going to make the charge of my trebuchet. The turn after that, if he did make it to the trebuchet, he would have saved all those points, and it's probably 300 points, but it wasn't impacting the game. So because I don't need my trebuchets now. So certainly demoralizing, and I'll certainly take the points, but it wasn't going to swing the game in terms of these things up here. After combat, the Great Bale Taurus is hanging on to dear life. He's got 1 wound left. The Noblars just can't roll 6s with the forced reroll on it. If you notice the combat with my BSB, the Bretonnian armor and ward saves saved the day, and I didn't take enough wounds to lose my steadfast. The problem is, this next time we fight will be on my opponent's turn. And, well, anyway, the next time we fight, I'm almost certainly not going to be steadfast. And that's, like I said, I'm just going to lose that unit probably. You go to Ogre's turn 4. Yeah, he has no movement to do. He's got 1 lead belcher in the top left. His other 2 units, the only ones remaining, are locked in combat. And this time the Noblars get under steadfast. And my Great Bale Taurus with 1 wound remaining still has his breath weapon, is still frenzied. And yeah, he's like that. Meanwhile, I don't know if he killed everybody or just broke my BSB's unit. Either way, I've lost a 327 point knight unit, as well as my battle standard bearer and a paladin. So it's a good chunk of points he just got. And his unit is relatively unscathed. And they turn to face the charge. I've got peg knights there and a knight unit. My knight unit may be able to take it. And I decide there's just no reason to force it. So I pull back just a little bit. I bring my general's unit up. I move the Bale Taurus around. I sacrifice the peg knights. And now I think I'm going to crush them. Yeah. Not a good time to be a peg knight, but whatever. Go to Ogre's turn 5. What's he going to do? The only thing he has on the table is his general's unit and the 1 lead belcher. So his general's unit charges the peg knights, and he just kills them all. And then reforms. He can't avoid either a rear charge or 2 flank charges, so he does what he can. And we all charge in. Now, the Great Bale Taurus, the question is, do I hold him back and just save the points, or do I rush him in there and get those high strength attacks and able to use the breath weapon? I think I get in a challenge with my general so that he can't attack the Bale Taurus, but I could still use the breath weapon. But my memory's fuzzy, I'm not sure. But I was looking at this thinking I'm going to crush these guys. The problem is, on his magic phase, he got through the stubborn spell. So all my combat res isn't going to matter. But I'm thinking I should do just a ton of wounds. I should absolutely annihilate this unit. And yeah, I do. I just did a lot. Killed him down. I think it's his BSB and my general are in a challenge. I get heroic killing blows. He gets his ward save. Apparently I was wrong about the Great Bale Taurus because he was able to kill it. And so then I was thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't have brought him in. Maybe I should have saved 300 points. I mean, really, was it really worth the breath weapon? I think that's the second major mistake I made this game. And then, yeah, this was turn 5. I had at least 2 rounds of combat, and yeah, we killed him. So at the end of the game, he still had his lead belchers, but that's it. I took some heavy losses. I took, a Night Bus, a Great Bale Taurus, my Peg Knights, 1 Trebuchet, 2 Paladins. I mean, I took some heavy losses. I know that I had 17 points. I think one of those points came from the scenario objectives, and neither one of us did well with that. I think it was a 16-4 win, and I got 1 bonus, but I'm really not sure about my opponent's points. I know for certain I got 17. So I like 17. I mean, it's possible to get 24, maybe even 25 if the scenario objectives work out for you. But I don't know if I want to be at 24, 25 points at the very top tables right at the beginning of the tournament. 17, I'm right in the hunt. I'm not necessarily too high. I was very, very happy with it. My opponent ended up taking 15th overall out of 72 players, so I felt that he did very well, especially considering that in 1 game out of 6, he only got 4 points. That means he did very, very well the rest of the tournament. So that's it for game one. Hope you enjoyed it. Hey everyone, Once Bitten here. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has several functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like the video, you can leave a comment, you can favorite the video. I want you to know that I appreciate it when you do things like that. It feels much more interactive than simply me talking to a screen. So if you're willing to do so, please like, comment, and favorite the videos. Subscribe to the channel if you want, and you certainly are welcome to share this video on your blog or other websites if you are so inclined. Again, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.